Hello, welcome to the AVFC STATTO preview show with the AVFC STATTO Dale and myself, Dan Bardell. The show is sponsored by Luke Roper. If you want to get 20% off all Luke Roper's garms, then use the code TVV20 and you'll get 20% off all those garms. Not sure why I'm using the word garms. Dale, how are you?
Yes, good, mate. All good.
Good.
We'll look forward to another game at the weekend.
Yeah, good to see you. Good to chat to you as always. In case you missed it, we did do our normal match preview, myself and Dave Reed, a couple of hours ago. So after this video, go back and check that out after you've enjoyed all the stats that Dale's going to come up with for us. Chris Dolan in the comments saying, stop saying garms, you're not cool. Can't all work in the fashion industry, mate. We don't all know what the terminology is. Dale, what's the first stat that we've got? As always, we're going to start with Aston Villa Football Club because this is an Aston Villa Football Club channel. Adam's wheeling up the stat right now, I'm sure. There we go. Unai Emery's Aston Villa team can become the first team in Premier League history to score in all 19 of games since the start of Emery's tenure. So I guess the wording of that is a bit ambiguous, but so in the first 19 games of any Premier League manager's tenure, Villa can be the first team to do that. So we've already equaled a record, essentially.
Yeah, the record's been equaled, actually, which is good. You know,
Yeah.
we can be proud of that, I guess.
That's how records work.
Yeah. He's currently tied with Mike Walker from Norwich and Carlo Ancelotti for Chelsea on 18. And like you said, no Premier League team in history has ever scored in their first 19 games at the start of a new manager's tenure. And I think if Emery and Villa do that on Saturday, you know, it's a massive achievement by both the manager and the team, I guess, considering the poor football that we were playing before we arrived at the club.
Yeah, any stats like this blow my mind because I just never fancied us to score at the start of the season. For Emery to come in and for us to have scored in every single game since he's arrived in the building is absolutely, it's sensational. And you wouldn't bet against it happening again at the weekend because it happens every week. But he just seems to have extinguished so many of these records, doesn't he? Any bad record or anything that needs doing, he just seems to have done it so far, Unai Emery.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. I was saying before we come on that, like, as I started this account in lockdown, and like since then it's been me, and I find in pre-game stats it's always been okay. Villa haven't scored in the last 4 games. Villa haven't won in the last 5. You know, it's all been terrible. But now I've sort of reversed it, and I'm going, oh, bloody hell, Villa are undefeated in 7 or 8, and I'm going back through and looking at the longest ones. It's actually nice to be positive for once.
I bet you're absolutely delighted when I came to you and asked you to do a show about all those stats because it was like that, wasn't it? I've followed you for years, and everything that came up, I used to make me laugh that there were so many horrendous records that we seemed capable of producing as a football club. But Unai Emery so far, he's just breaking down all kinds of barriers as Aston Villa manager, and long may it continue. Let's look at the second Villa stat now. Adam's ready this time. No flies on him now. Aston Villa have earned 7 points from their 3 Premier League away games in London under Unai Emery. In the preview show with Dave Reid, just before this one, I did say actually the last time I went to London was the last time we didn't win.
West Ham game.
Is that right? West Ham? Yeah, is that the last? Is that the last time we went to London? It's definitely the last time we didn't win, but is that the last time we went to London? I'm starting to doubt myself now.
So as under Emery, we've beaten Spurs and Chelsea in London. So Chelsea was the last one, I think.
Yes, that was the last time we went to London. So that completely discount everything I said about that in the previous show. Dave Reid didn't correct me, but yeah, you're right. But yeah, but still, the last time we didn't win a game was in London. I think that's actually what I said.
Yeah, I think you did. I was watching the show.
I did get it right then, so no need for Dave.
Yeah. No, it's all good. Yes, to beat Spurs and Chelsea and drew with West Ham. That's 7 points from 9. We'd only earned 7 points in my previous 13 top flight games in the capital before Unai Emery's arrival, winning 2, drawing 1, and losing 10.
Who was the last win in London before? Was it Palace? Palace in Gerrard's first away game?
Yeah, was that the McGinn goal?
The curler.
The curler. Yeah, I think it might have been. I'll put it in the comments after the show if it wasn't or not.
That's the one that leaps out to me. I was there, and we didn't win many games away. It felt like last season we won it.
Yeah.
That must have been. I bet you that was. But yeah, our record in London for a period did feel pretty poor. I know this because I used to go to all the London away games, and we never used to win. Especially if I was sat next to Chris Dolan, and there was just no chance of us winning. I was at that Palace game. It was a rare victory when I traipsed into London. That was, but yeah. I do fancy us this weekend. Brentford are fallen away a little bit in recent weeks. They're very good at home, though, aren't they? I guess that's the issue this weekend.
Yeah, we'll come on to that in a second.
Okay, well, let's come on to
There
it.
you go.
See whether Adam's using Windows 98 or the latest version.
Yeah.
Brentford have lost their last 3 Premier League games, as many as they had in their previous 21, because they were on a really, really good run, weren't they? After they got pumped at Villa Park by us, they went on a little run after that game under Aaron Danks.
Yeah, it was weird because we were in 11th place for a while, right? And like
For a long time.
Fulham, Brentford, Brighton, Chelsea were all winning ahead of us every week, and we couldn't catch them. But now it seems like Fulham, Brentford, and Chelsea as well have all fallen off a bit. So Chelsea have lost away to Man United 1-0. They lost at home against Newcastle 2-1, which I think they were very unlucky to do. And then away last time out against Wolves. The 2 games before that as well were draws. That they drew to Leicester and Brighton, so they're winless in their last 5, which I'm not sure whether it's a good time to play them or not. Is it good that they're on a losing streak because they'll be down, or is it bad they're on a losing streak because they want to win?
I'm not sure either, but you know what? At the moment, because we're so good, I don't really feel like it has a direct effect. I feel like it doesn't really matter. In some respects, my personal opinion is that I think, from what I've read this week, I feel like there'll be a bit of a refocus from Brentford. They don't want their season to peter out because they're having a great season. Their first ambition, as I said in the preview show, will always be, let's stay up. Let's not get embroiled in any relegation nonsense. Let's stay up. The next thing they want to do is get top 10, which is probably a realistic target for them. Now they want to make sure that they don't fizzle out and finish bottom half. So I do think there'll be a bit of a sharp refocus for Brentford. And in their last home game as well, they played very well in that first half.
They did, yeah.
Against Newcastle. Newcastle did well to turn that around in the second half. At home, generally, Brentford are very, very strong. Rich T is asking if there's any potential individual records for this game. Wait, I don't know if there actually is or not, but let's wait till the end. Let's see what we go through. Any questions, ask them at the end. Rich T, as any good person giving a presentation will tell you. I've lost where we are now.
Brentford still.
Are we still on second Brentford stat to come? Here we go. I liked this one when it flashed up on the screen earlier before we came on. Brentford are winless in their last 7 Premier League games, played at a 3 p.m. on a Saturday. First off, Statter, I can even be asked to find that information out.
Yes, those ones are the easiest ones to find. They're easy to find. Them ones.
Are they?
They're one of the easy ones.
Okay. Is that one you particularly look out for, the 3 p.m.s?
No, it's not. No, it's not. But I looked at the last 5 and they lost them all, so they kept going back. But yeah, no, those ones are the ones. Yeah, but the ones for Brentford are quite hard to find this time because I don't know. I just couldn't find any Brentford stats. It was weird. I don't know, but they've won only 2 of their 15 Premier League games played at 3 p.m. on a Saturday this season.
That's surprising.
Which is a lot of games considering how many times Villa have played at that time on a Saturday. We only played 9 times on a Saturday this season, and Brentford have played 15.
They've only won 2 games at 3 o'clock all season because Brentford aren't a team that are on telly all the time. So you'd think they have a lot of 3 p.m. kickoffs.
Yeah, only won 2 of the 15. And on their current run, the last 7, they were without a win. So they drew with Arsenal, drew with Palace, lost to Everton, drew with Leicester, drew with Brighton, lost to Newcastle, and lost to Wolves last time out.
That's interesting.
And Villa have won the last 4.
I mean,
on a Saturday.
There was a point when we were doing shows, and I think we were saying Villa haven't done this on the 3 o'clock.
Yeah, that was peak Villa all the time, wasn't it?
I mean, at one point Villa hadn't played a home game at 3 o'clock up until recently. Now we've had a few. It's interesting. It's very niche. That's what you do. That's what you're here for, to be niche and come up with these things. Let's have our peak Villa stat then, which is becoming harder and harder to find through the week. But there we go. Aston Villa have not beat Brentford away from home in a league game since 1947. Now, I can't imagine they've played each other that many times since 1947. We'll have to check in with Adam and see if he remembers those games.
I'll tell you what,
the one in 1947.
I'll tell you what, man, I love the photo that you used for that clip.
Did you see the photo? Can we get it back up? I didn't really look at it. Come over.
It's unbelievable.
Is that not? I mean, that looks like it's from the 1800s. Is that a 1947 photo? Adam, let us know in our private chat whether that is a is a genuine photo from 1947. It is. Where on
There you
earth
go.
has he found that from?
Unbelievable.
I mean,
Unbelievable.
I'm presuming you're going to know this, Stato. How many times have they played Brentford away since 1947?
This is what I was going to say. So I'm going to caveat this by saying we only played them. So we've only played 4 league games against them away from home since then.
Yeah,
And 3 were in the Championship, and 1 was in the Premier League last season, and we lost all 4.
I mean, I was at the 3 Championship losses. I remember them all very, very well. The Premier League one was last. That was that game when Trezeguet got shot at the end of the game, wasn't it? That was Brentford.
Danny Ings scored a great goal though.
Danny Ings did score a great goal, and then that was it from Villa for the day. We'd done our work. We scored a nice goal, played some attractive football for 30 seconds, and then that was us done. We decided to do nothing for the rest of the game, and then contrived to lose the game right at the end as well. But yeah, Trezeguet that was when there was a sniper in the crowd, and Trezeguet was unfortunately taken out by. And we never saw him again either. That was it for Trezeguet after that game at Brentford. Yeah, but
yeah,
so we've only played them once at the new ground, haven't we? That was that one game. That was the last time. That was the only time we played at this ground.
Yeah, the stat I always pull up when we play Everton is Neil Maupay has never scored against Villa in the Premier League, and he's played us like a load of times. I can't remember
in the Championship.
No. We scored against Villa, didn't they, in the Championship for Brentford twice? I think it's once in 3-0, and then you scored in a 1-0 win as well. I think.
I remember him scoring a couple. He might have scored a couple at Villa Park as well in the 2-2 draw. I could be wrong. Yeah, I mean Villa have had some bogey players. I mean Ryan Woods for Brentford. I used to go to Brentford away, and Ryan Woods literally looked like the best midfielder in the world every single time we played them. And he was always a player I thought Villa would sign a player like that, and now I think he's at Hull. Like his career didn't go in the direction I expected it to after he passed Villa off the park every single time that he played against us. Yes, there's been some very unhappy days at Brentford away, but as ever with this Unai Emery team, things are very different now, and you hope that they'd be different on Saturday.
Yeah, he's a curse breaker.
He's a curse breaker.
I've started a thread on Twitter about all the curses that he's broken. So I'll be able to add to that hopefully this weekend.
Have you got any other little pearls of wisdom? You can start putting some questions in the chat now for Stato, and we'll try and answer a few. I don't know why I'm saying we, because I obviously won't answer anything, but yeah, put some questions.
I can try and answer them. Yeah,
we'll give it a go. Will, the royal way. I might actually. Sometimes I know things. Sometimes I might remember something. Unlikely I'll remember it over you, but I might remember it as well as you. But is there any other little nugget? You had some extra nuggets last week.
I got 3 bonus ones for you this week, Dan.
Go on then. No quiz this week, by the way. Okay, here we go.
As this one's a bit of an Ollie Watkins love fest because he's on such a run. So Ollie Watkins has scored 11 goals in his last 12 Premier League games for Aston Villa, with 14 overall this season, which is his joint best in a top flight campaign for Villa, which is also the same as he got in 2020, 2021. The last Villa player to score 15 plus goals in the top flight season was Christian Benteke.
Yeah.
Who was the last English player to do it in the top flight for Aston Villa?
Score 15 plus? League only?
Top flight league.
So we're not talking Premier League here then?
No comment.
English, not British?
English.
God. 15 plus. So we're talking pre-Premier League. I mean...
It was the year before the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking before I started watching football here, so it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for me. I don't know how old you thought I was when you were compiling that. Season before the Premier League, English striker.
Didn't say it was a striker.
Oh, I've got it. I've got it. David Platt.
There you go. Yeah, he got 19 in 1990, 1991.
That's ridiculous for midfield, isn't it?
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
Sensational.
The second one, so Ollie Watkins has scored a Premier League goal at 14 different Premier League away grounds. A goal this weekend against Brighton would take his tally to 15. Brentford.
Brighton on the mind.
I'm making sure you're listening. So if he scores this weekend, it will take his tally to 15, which would be the second most of any player in the competition's history, behind Gabby, who has 23.
Repeat that. I mean, because you said Brighton, I got lost in that and I missed the start of it.
Ollie Watkins has scored a Premier League goal of 14 different Premier League away grounds, with a goal against Brentford this weekend. It will take his tally to 15. the second most of any Aston Villa player in the competition's history, behind Gabby with 23.
Gabby did 23 in his entire time.
Yep.
Not bad. I do feel like he always popped up with goals in the away games, Gabby. A lot of important goals in big away games. Think of the Blues games and Old Trafford and Arsenal.
Yes. Well. As I got a list here of like total Villa goals of all time, at home and then away. As Gabby got 40 away goals for Aston Villa, and the next one is Dwight York with 23.
So Gabby got more away goals than home goals for Villa then, if my maths is correct.
Yes, by 6.
Interesting.
Yes, and then the last one, Ollie Watkins needs 3 more Premier League goals this season away from home to break Aston Villa's record of away goals in a single season in the competition's history. So he has 7 currently.
Yeah,
away from home this season. And do you want to do a quick quiz?
Yeah, why not?
Who has the most in a single season away from home? And a bonus point for the season.
I would say it has to be Dwight York.
Which season?
There's certain patterns with these quizzes. The answer's usually Brian Little, John Gregory, Dwight York, or Christian Benteke.
It's so true. It's so true.
They are
Just say one of them and you get it right.
They're the general answers that you can go for. Which season? Away goals. It's out 3, isn't it? But I will go. I'll go 96, 97.
1 year out, 97, 98. Christian Benteke got 8 in 2012, 2013, and Dean Saunders got 8 in 1994, 1995, and Watkins is currently on 7.
Good. I mean, if you get double figures, you'd back him to get that at the moment on his current form, wouldn't you? You'd back him to get double figures away from how many away games is the left 3 or 4?
Yeah. He's also tied with Anwar Al Ghazi, who got 7 in 2020, 2021.
The lockdown season, many of them were penalties. I'm going to
yes,
imagine.
Yeah.
There's not really been any questions come through from what I can see. And there's one there that you're actually absolutely not going to have.
What's that?
That's something that we already covered at the start of the show. I'm not sure whether John came in late to the show, but go back to the start, John, and you'll hear the answer to your question.
And what's the one about the newly born kids one?
I mean, there's absolutely no chance you can come if you come up with anything for that.
Well,
no chance. No.
So I was thinking about this, right? So this is Ollie Watkins' second kid.
Yep.
Right. He scored away at Liverpool in lockdown season, and when he scored, he put the ball under his stomach as like a baby thing. Now, I don't know the date of his birth of his first kid, but it could have been around that time.
Could that not have been when she was pregnant? Well, I suppose it could have been. It would, mate.
Potentially.
I think that maybe was when she was pregnant. I think because didn't he say about having a lack of sleep, and then at the same time at that time as well, there was the goals dried up a little bit for him, and at that point he was scoring on a decent streak of scoring goals. I bet no father, has any father and sons ever scored for Villa? Has that ever happened? A father and then a son? I bet it hasn't.
Brothers, yeah, but I don't think father and son.
There could be a father and son in the near future because Stephen Moore's son, Kobe Moore.
Yes, Kobe Moore, yeah.
He plays for the under 20 or 21s, doesn't he? So there's a chance that could happen. That would be an interesting one because there has been some father-son combinations in football that have scored, and in the Premier League as well, because that really makes me feel old when I see a player whose dad I remember watching.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
In the Premier League, but Villa, I don't think that's happened for Villa, so that could be one to keep an eye on. John Steele says, "Are Ollie's kids signed to the academy yet? And if not, why not?" I'm trying to think if there's any other Villa players' kids knocking around in the academy teams. I know the Ramseys have got another brother who's coming through as well, but fathers and sons.
Is Martinez's son not in the academy, like a really young age?
I think he goes training there, possibly from what I've seen on social media. But I know Petrov's kid was a keeper. He was at the academy for a little bit. I don't know whether he's still there. Interesting one. I want to keep an eye on. But if you were a betting man, Kobe Moore would be the current favourite, I think, to become the first father-son combination to score for Villa. So watch out for Watch out for that one. Go on,
Yep.
put your hand up.
Got-
You know the score, STATTO.
Miss. I got
Yeah,
one
yeah.
more. As a Villa obviously won 5 in a row now. They've never won 6 in a row in the Premier League.
Ever.
Ever. The last time they did it in the top flight was 1989, 1990 when they won 7 in a row.
Because 6 in a row is big in Premier League terms. Me and Greg were talking on 1874 on Tuesday, and almost speculating at the moment we're on an 8-game unbeaten run where we've won 7. You know, if we go 10 unbeaten in the Premier League, bearing in mind we'll win minimum 7 games if we do that.
Yeah.
That's almost more spectacular than the 10-game run in some ways, although the 10-game run obviously got us promoted. But we need to be unbeaten in 10 in the Premier League is very, very difficult. I'm not saying it's not difficult in the Championship, but it's very difficult in the Premier League.
Yeah, especially if you get to the Europa League.
Similar vibes, isn't it? Similar vibes. Getting something that you didn't think was possible earlier on in the season. That was a bit what happened with the 10-game run because playoffs did not look possible.
No, not a chance.
I remember me and Tom Julian doing podcasts, just wanting the season to go to end because we're not going to go up. Let's just end the season now. And then, you know, this at times you just thought there's absolutely no chance we're going to propel ourselves into the top 6. If we do that, they're 2 unbelievable periods in the club's histories that will go down in folklore. The 10 in a row will always be remembered by Villa fans. And if we get into Europe this season, considering we gave everyone a massive head start, it would be incredible and would be remembered forever. I mean, Marine Boy says we're going to win our last 7 and make it 12 wins in a row. And Everything Villa's got a question for you, STATTO. Didn't we go 10 unbeaten at the start of the season under Martin O'Neill? Got to say that's not leaping out in my mind.
Oh, give me a second. I mean,
we definitely didn't do it in his first season.
At the start of the season,
we may have gone 10 unbeaten at one point, but I think there was a lot of draws in that. But I don't think we started the season.
Well, we've definitely gone 10 unbeaten before, for sure. We did
a lot of draws in there, though.
Yeah, I mean, we did it under Ron Atkinson in 1992. We've done it under Gregory. We've done it under Brian Little. No, that's John Gregory. We went 14 games unbeaten under John Gregory in 1992. So yeah, there's loads of times we've gone 10 unbeaten.
Yeah, but he's saying start of the season, but I don't think we did that under Martin O'Neill. If I'm being honest, my memory doesn't remember that.
At the start of the 2006 season, we went 9 unbeaten. Close.
Oh, that was his first season then.
Yeah.
Well, he had a lot of draws in there as well.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, 5 draws. 4
wins. Season Melbourne scored at the Emirates on the first day.
You're testing me out there.
I think it is. If it's O'Neill's first season was 2006.
Yeah. So 9, and then there was this one, which is it's not. That's not the start of the season. We went 13 under Martin O'Neill in 2008, unbeaten. But again, there's 1, 2, 3. There's only 4 draws in that, so 9 wins, 4 draws. That's a pretty decent spell.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe you forget that we have had some decent spells at times, just because the last decade has been so miserable. All that stuff just feels so long ago now.
Mm-hmm.
But we have had some good teams in the past, but this team at the moment's right up there. I'm absolutely loving their work, loving everything that they're doing. Let's call it a night then. Dale, thanks ever so much for all the stats you've provided. Do keep an eye on Dale's Twitter in the lead up to the game. AVFC stats. I'm sure there'll be more pearls of wisdom before Brentford on Saturday. Go back and check out the match preview with Dave Reed that I did earlier on a few hours ago. Go and check that out if you haven't watched that yet. Also, 1874 has got a lot of relevant information in it as well. Myself and Greg gives us a little bit of an insight into Villa's summer transfer plan, so go back and check that out as well if you want to. Subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff wherever you're getting your Villa View fix at the moment, please. Again, I'll say I didn't realise, one, how many people were watching across all the platforms / listening, and also I didn't realise how important liking a video was, so I'm starting to say it now at the end of every video. So please give the video a like. Are you doing a watch along on your channel, Dale, on Saturday?
I'll be here.
Watch along. Excellent. So yeah, go to Dale. I presume your YouTube channel is called AVFC STATTO.
You presume correct. Yep. I'll be there.
Yeah. Just as I said it, someone asked in the comments. So obviously, Everything Villa is watching your watch alongs.
Yeah, he comes along
on your channel. Lovely stuff, Dale. Bringing the community together.
Indeed.
Let's go. There'll be a post-match point Sunday night, I suspect. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. Thanks ever so much for joining, even you, Chris Dolan. Take care. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.